Hey everybody, Thomas here, and welcome back to SFF180. It is Monday, September the 26th, and it is time for the mailbag. I hope you guys have been having a really good week. Wow, my week has been crazy, insane busy, and busy in ways that have taken me away from reading and from the channel, sorry to say. But I wasn't going to let you guys down today. The main thing is that I've been attending Fantastic Fest this week. Started on Thursday, it goes all the way through this coming Thursday. It is an annual genre film festival here in Austin that is now the biggest festival of its kind in the country. And there's a bigger one in Toronto every July called Fantasia Festival. But Fantastic Fest, like I said, it's a thing I do every year. I've been doing it ever since like 2009. And it's great fun. You get a chance to see a lot of stuff from all around the globe that you wouldn't ordinarily get to see. I've seen already a bunch of movies that I've really loved. I've seen some that have been big disappointments. I've uncovered some nice surprises, and that's the whole point of the thing, you know. So this is like my week to share my love of cinema, which I don't usually get to do because my tastes tend to run to the things that are on the fringes of the movie world and not really the mainstream. So, but it's busy times. It's like 14 hours a day, 12 hours a day over at the theater. And I have a little gap today, which allows me to go ahead and get the mailbag recorded. And so the overdue reviews that I've been needing to write and record and post will be up next week. I promise you that, okay? But without further ado, because I have to get this done and get to a screening at 5. I'm seeing Arrival at 5. So I'm going to get through the mailbag, and we have a good size stack this week, a whole lot of books. So let's not waste any time and see what we have, shall we? All right, you guys, this first one is a big box from Simon & Schuster from Saga Press, and it's got some heavy things in here. I think I know what these might be. Well, it's really nice. A lot of these are some things that I already have copies of, but it's nice to have other ones. I have some other reviewers that I know who will like getting some of these. But I have been sent, once again, Icon by Genevieve Valentine. This is her sequel to Persona, and it is the second of a 2-book series dealing with the media and how it shapes public opinion. So that is out right now from Saga Press. And I've also been sent another copy of The Forgetting Moon by Brian Lee Durfee. This is the first volume in his epic fantasy, a series called The 5 Warrior Angels. Yeah, that's it. Kind of difficult to read the font on the side of the thing. But The Forgetting Moon, again, out right now in hardcover from Saga Press. And finally, among the stuff that I've already received copies of, this is The Last Adventure of Constance Verity. This is by Ailey Martinez, and it looks to be a very amusing urban fantasy about a young woman whose destiny is to save the world, but she's not very well suited for it and doesn't really feel like it's a thing she wants to do, but she has to. So this is out at the moment, and all of these books, the ones that you've just seen, which are ones that I've now got duplicates of, these are books that I do plan to review. They're very much on my list, and as far as these duplicates, I have places where these are going to go, so, you know, don't worry about that. But in terms of what's new, I have now gotten The Wall of Storms. This is book 2 of the Dandelion Dynasty. It's Ken Liu's series, which he calls a silk punk fantasy. I'm not quite sure about that term, but as you know, it's the sequel to The Grace of Kings. And I guess, what is the release date on this? Because they never really say. Well, I guess it's an October title because there's no actual sell sheet in here. But I have gotten this as an ARC already, but this is the finished copy. Quite a lovely hardcover. As you see, it has these gorgeous maps on the end papers. There you go. Thank you very much, Saga Press. All right, let's move on down the list. This looks to be... Oh, this is one that looks to have been sent by the actual author. Well, it is. It is an ARC for The Diabolic. It's a new young adult novel from S.J. Kincaid, which comes out in November. It says November the 1st. And I have already gotten an ARC from this from the publisher. They were also handing them out at BEA, but I got it later on the mail. But I suppose... I really do. I need to send S.J. Kincaid an email to thank her and let her know that I do plan coverage on all of this. But there's also this little letter thing that she sent in here. Okay, well, there's this nice little pen, and then this is this is actually a letter from the publisher. This book has been a dream scenario for a publisher and an editor. The Diabolic has earned itself all kinds of elevator pitches at this point, but my favorite is Terminator meets House of Cards. So there you go. It's the story of a genetically engineered teenager, a Diabolic, named Nemesis. She's thought to be a soulless killing machine, created to protect an heiress to the Galactic Senate. But when the Emperor summons this heiress to serve as a hostage, Nemesis is sent in her stead. It's the only way to protect her master. Now one of the galaxy's most dangerous weapons is masquerading in a world of corrupt politicians and two-faced senators' children. And it says, oh, wait until you get to page 161. So there you have it. The Diabolic comes out November the 1st. Simon & Schuster, young adult title. Let me know in the comments. Alrighty then, so far this has been a day of a lot of duplication. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens. But this is one from Random Penguin. Let's see what we've got here. Alright everyone, I don't usually do game tie-in novel coverage, but this is, after all, a book by Timothy Zahn, and it is StarCraft Evolution. So it is a novel based on that game experience. It comes out November the 8th, and so I suppose if you're a StarCraft player, you'll be very eager to read this. The reason I don't do reviews of, like, you know, game-related tie-ins or like Star Wars novels and stuff like that was when I started my website years ago, I decided, okay, you know, there's only so many days of my life have been allocated to me. And so as much as I would love to, I literally cannot read everything that ever gets published. I'm not going to read everything I have probably before I die. That's just reality. And I decided I had to make a list of what I would exclude from the site, what I would review, what I would not review. You know, it wasn't really due to any kind of chauvinism towards anything. I just had to make a list and then justify my choices. And I ended up sticking with original SF and fantasy for the most part. And my thinking on things like Star Wars books and Star Trek books and game-based books is that they tend to go towards a core audience, you know, of that fan base, and then that fan base has a huge internet presence itself where, you know, they've got their forums and their websites and their subreddits where all the Star Wars fans start talking about the Star Wars books and what have you. And so my contribution to that would not really be that meaningful. I wanted to be, you know, the kind of thing, the kind of website that was out there reviewing the stuff that wasn't pre-sold, that didn't have a brand, you know, attached to it for easy marketing. The original SFF fiction that writers were trying, you know, their own ideas, you know, that they were trying to publish. So anyway, that long-winded explanation was probably unnecessary, but if you're a StarCraft fan, look for StarCraft Evolution on November the 8th from Del Rey Books in hardcover. Moving on down the line, we have another Random Penguin. And we now have the trade paperback version of Morningstar, the third and final volume in the Red Rising trilogy, one that I very much need to review. I'm sure you'd all like to see what I have to say about this. But this comes out tomorrow in trade paperback from Del Rey Books. And, you know, if you're familiar with the Red Rising trilogy, you know, it's hard. I can imagine it would be very difficult to not be familiar with it, given its current stature in SFF publishing. But, well, I don't really want to read anything from the sell sheet, because for those of you who have not read it, it would give away spoilers. But the entire trilogy is now available in paperback. Morningstar comes out tomorrow from Del Rey Books. And what do I have here? Something from Gallery Books. Simon & Schuster. Okay, so after everything I just said about game-based books and that sort of thing, tie-in fiction, hey, it's all good. This is something called Halo Fractures, Extraordinary Tales from the Halo Canon. And this is already out. It came out on the 20th from Gallery Books, and this appears to be a story collection. There's short fiction from the Halo verse. And so let's see who all is in here. Tobias Buckle, Troy Denning, Matt Forbeck, Kelly Gay, Christy Golden, and some names I'm not familiar with, Joseph Staten, James Swallow. All right, so if you're a Halo fan, here's a collection of what appears to be short fiction novellas and novelettes from the Halo universe. Thrill once more to stories of galaxy-spanning conflict and inspiring heroism, shards of an ever-expanding universe, where human and alien alike face their greatest challenges with their finest hours. So it's out now from Gallery Books. And this package is from HarperCollins. Okay, I'm very happy to have this. This is the finished copy in hardcover of a novel by Sarah Beth Durst, who has written mostly YA up to this point, but I do believe... No, wait, this is a YA too, because I'm looking at the price tag, and it's got a YA level price tag. So this is the beginning of a new fantasy series by Sarah Beth Durst. The book is called The Queen of Blood. The series is called The Queens of Renthea. And so far, I have heard... The buzz that I've heard about this from people who are reading it or who have read it is very positive. Let's see what it has to say. An idealistic young student and a banished warrior become allies in a battle to save their realm in this first volume of a mesmerizing new epic fantasy series filled with political intrigue, violent magic, malevolent spirits, and thrilling adventure. Okay, and it says 0916, so I guess it's out, if not already, probably this week. September title. Let's see, everything has a spirit. The willow tree with leaves that kiss the pond, the stream that feeds the river, the wind that exhales fresh snow. But the spirits that reside within this land want to rid it of all humans. Sounds actually sensible. One woman stands between these malevolent spirits and the end of humankind, the Queen. She alone has the magical power to prevent the spirits from destroying every man, woman, and child, but queens are still only human, and no matter how strong or good they are, the threat of danger always looms. Because the queen's position is so precarious, young women are specially chosen to train as her heirs. Delena, okay, so it's not hereditary, that's interesting. Delena, a seemingly quiet academy student, is under no illusions as to her claim to the throne, but simply wants to right the wrongs that have befallen the land. Meanwhile, the disgraced champion, Ven, has spent his exile secretly fighting against the growing number of spirit attacks. When Delena and Ven join forces... Okay. Gonna lay odds now. What do you want to bet they get together at some point in the book? These daring partners embark on a treacherous quest to find the source of the spirit's restlessness, a journey that will test their courage and trust and force them to stand against both enemies and friends to save their land before it is bathed in blood. Oh dear. Okay. Well, it doesn't sound like it's breaking too much new ground in terms of storytelling, but if it tells the particular story it's telling well, it could be quite good. So let me know in the comments if you'd like to know more about this, if you'd like for me to review it. Sarah Beth Durst, The Queen of Blood. And another HarperCollins title. I'm really happy with HarperCollins that they use these little boxes instead of just padded mailers, because the book survives its journey through the mails a little bit better when they use these, I got to say. And once again, this appears to be the week of duplicates. I don't know if this is the second or the third copy of this that I've received, but this is the third volume, the final volume in a trilogy that, again, I've been quite eager to read, an epic fantasy trilogy. The author is Mitchell Hogan. It's the Sorcery Ascendant sequence, and the final volume is A Shattered Empire. And yeah, this is already out on the racks. Came out on the 13th. And I have already got at least one, in fact, I'm looking at it right now, one of my duplicates of this. So, yeah, I guess they're really giving this a push. And I've been quite curious to read it. I know a few people who have read it haven't paid too much attention to the, opinions that are coming in about the series, but it's big and it's dense. And it says this was originally a self-published series, but the first volume, A Crucible of Souls, received the Aurealis Award, which is Australia's big SFF award, and Mitchell Hogan is Australian. And so it says he followed it up with The Blood of Innocence, and now... okay, so essentially you have, a young guy, his parents were killed, Batman style, and the monks raised him, and now he has to save the Empire and that sort of a thing. So, it's that kind of epic fantasy, feels very traditional, but if you'd like to know more, and if you'd like for me to review these, just let me know in the comments. But A Shattered Empire is out right now. Okay, next to last package, and it is something from Random Penguin, a very little package from the folks at Random Penguin. All right, this is kind of unexpected. This is a new novel from the writing team of Barb and J.C. Chendi, who have written a series called The Noble Dead, which is sort of SF meets vampires. It's like in the future, and it's post-apocalyptic, but like this race of vampires has taken over the world. Not a big vampire fan, but who knows? That could be an interesting spin on the thing. At least it's a little bit science fictional, so there's that. But anyway, point is, I still have not read any of this work, although I have several of the books. But this is the first volume of a new series. It's called The Dead Seekers. Publication date is January the 3rd, 2017. And so let's see, it's a bold new series set in the same world where the destinies of two hunters shaped by the shadows of their pasts are about to collide. In the dark reaches of the eastern continent, Tris Vishal, there we go, travels from village to village using his power to put unsettled spirits to rest. He works alone, having learned that letting people close only leads to more death. Still, well, that sounds like your fault, pal. Still, he finds himself accepting the help of the Mondi Alitko woman who saves his life, a woman whose gifts are as much a burden as his own. And then I guess they go out and seek the dead, as they are the dead seekers. But, okay, new series begins on January the 3rd. Let me know in the comments. And last one, you guys. This comes from the mailroom of Macmillan. Could be a Tor book. Usually is when it's Macmillan. And finally, here we have the arc for David Weber's At the Sign of Triumph. This is volume 9 now of his Safehold series, which began 9 years ago in Off Armageddon Reef. Okay, This is a massive epic space opera, or, you know, far future science fiction series that, you know, I keep meaning to, I'm going to start these, and then the series keeps going on and on and on, and now I'm like intimidated by it because every book is this vast tome, you know, 900, 1,000 pages, and so it's turned into this Malazan-sized commitment. But at the other hand, on the other hand, I feel like, well, I can't not read it, because if I want to be this, you know, source for SF book reviews, right? So what do? I'll eventually have to start it at some point, but if you're already into it, this is volume 9, which comes out on November the 8th at the Sign of Triumph, and I guess I can't really give any synopsis because, you know, spoil 9 books worth of material for those of you who want to read them, but it takes place on the planet Safehold, where apparently a great many conflicts happen and people are having wars and such. So look for this from David Weber if you're a fan of this series, out on the 8th of November. And that is it for the mailbag. This week, again, a big mailbag, but this time not a whole lot in the way of really new stuff, right? A whole bunch of stuff I've gotten before that I've showcased on early episodes, a lot of books that are already out, a few, you know, upcoming titles that look to be pretty big, but yeah, on the other hand, if you're someone who hasn't seen some of the older mailbags, if you're new to the channel, a new subscriber, well, then maybe these books are new to you, so that's fine. But you know the drill. Light up those comments. Let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you want to see me prioritize for review. Also, if you enjoyed watching, please hit the like button, share the video far and wide with all your SFF reading friends, and above all, please sub if you haven't done so. That is how SFF180 grows, and you can also support the channel at its TeePublic store, where there are shirts and nifty related merch. And so once again, I promise next week, regular content, more reviews, some overdue reviews will finally appear, and I will just sort of keep the train chugging along, even though now I have to, once the festival is over, now I have to prepare for a big move. But I'm not going to let you guys down, all right? So thank you again, and until I see all you awesome people next time, happy reading.